Welcome. This tutorial series is dedicated to the Innovative Pro Series product range. These systems, born from the most advanced and innovative technologies, guarantee safety, high reliability, and maximum precision. In this video series, we will unbox the different kits. We will see an example of how to install the devices, and we will illustrate how best to configure the systems to achieve maximum performance. Before we start with the unboxing of the kit, let's see how the new RT Pro Kit backpack is structured and what it contains. The front of the backpack features two pockets. The pocket at the top contains the HiSmart, while the one at the bottom is the section that contains the Start Gate and the HiLinks. The backpack has an additional compartment that holds devices and accessories, which are included in the basic kit or can be purchased separately. On one side of the backpack there are pockets to hold the two posts contained in the basic kit. On the opposite side we have two other similar pockets, in case you need to carry two more wooden poles, which are necessary when using the interweather kits. Also on the side, there is a pocket for the starting gate rod. The backpack also has a special feature. At the bottom, there is a zip marked with the color yellow, which allows the backpack to split into two parts. This feature allows two people involved in the assembly of the kit to install the start gate and arrival photocells at the same time. Inside the backpack of the basic kit we find the new RT Pro chronometer. One single frequency PLIFMO radio photocell, complete with its own radio antenna. The reflector combined with the photocell. One start gate with gate rod. One cable with banana connector. Two wooden posts for installing the photocell and the reflector. One dedicated power supply for the PLIFMO photocell, including a charging system with USB-C connector for all devices. Finally, two HiLinks for radio communication of the systems with the combined radio antennas. Before installing the systems, it is advisable to carry out an initial communication test and, if necessary, configure the HiLinks as required. The HiLinks contained in the basic kit are already configured to be used for startup and radio reception. Once the HiLinks are switched on, as we can see, the two systems are configured as start and receiver. When starting RT Pro, it will prompt for an initial synchronization if necessary. The main menu shows two icons. These represent the launch icons of the system and allow you to start a race or call up a pre-configured one. At the top is a second menu for generic configurations such as synchronization, hardware testing, which also includes a radio signal test, and finally we find the settings menu. Among the various items in this menu, we find Bluetooth pair devices. This selection allows you to check the correct connection of the HiLinks to the chronometer. In this screen, you can also enable or disable the Bluetooth. To perform a device test, you must first create a new race or training session. From the main menu, choose New Race, then Training Light. This selection allows you to start a new session with two types of configuration, training or race. A third choice allows you to import a race you have run in the past into the session. If you choose training, for example, you are asked to enter the data of the race you wish to run and save. You can enter all characters, including letters and numbers, all via the touch keyboard that will appear whenever you are prompted to enter data. It is also possible to enter the date of the session, the category, and the place. The Save and Continue button confirms the data loaded. The main menu presents a series of useful items or options for viewing and managing the session. These are the display of real-time times, the ranking, the athletes entered in the session, the groups present in the session, an option for printouts, the start lists, and finally, the reference times. Within the session, it is also possible to check again whether the devices are connected correctly. It is recommended to recheck the Bluetooth connections before installation on the track to avoid problems after installation by selecting Bluetooth pair devices item as explained above. By selecting Bluetooth Hi Family Settings, you access a menu within which you can reconfigure the Hi link. The screen features two selection boxes for group ID and radio frequency, and a table for reconfiguring the devices. As mentioned, the basic kit consists of two A-links. The first set is in start mode, to be installed at the start. The second is set in receiver mode to be used as a receiver of the radio signal. It is possible to reconfigure the devices to set them as an intermediate time in the event of a photocell being added, or as a stop in the event that the arrival photocell does not have a radio system. To do this, click on the log channel heading, referring to the device to be changed, then choose from the options proposed. One click resets the A-link as desired. Before continuing, attention should be paid to the configuration of the group ID and the channel on the Bluetooth Settings Hi Family menu. The Group Agent is a filter that supports the basic single frequency kit for managing multiple groups. In the case of tests with several teams or groups with several single frequency timing systems, it is possible to change the group item to manage several groups on the same radio frequency. For this reason, we recommend a radio test before installing the system. This, in addition to giving a percentage value in terms of the quality of the transmitted signal, will also show whether someone else, engaged in some other test, is using the same group ID as us. In the receipt printout, this value is shown as Link 8 channel. To perform the radio test, you must select the Hardware Test menu icon and select the item test radio signal. Pressing the button on the A-link as shown on the screen will activate the start impulse. The receiver and the RT Pro will display the value received. Finally, by interrupting the photocell communication, the stop impulse will be displayed. The display of the received data will show the percentage of the signal quality, the channel, in this case group ID set, and the type of impulse received. If the supplied kit is equipped with a PLIFMO radio photocell and conditions require a change of frequency, it is necessary to manually operate the photocell itself. On the back of the PLIFMO radio, there are in fact a series of PN switches. The operation diagram is also shown on the photocell itself and illustrates the division of these small switches. In detail, there are a total of 8 PN on the photocell. Starting from the left side, the first 3 PN represent the signal type. These switches are normally placed in the off position. From the 4th PN to the 7th, we find the channel selectors, while the last switch, used for radio transmission, enables or disables the function for long or short distances. Analyzing the channel-related switch pins, it should be understood that each of these refers to a value, corresponding to a specific radio channel. In the single-frequency PLIFMO photocell, this channel corresponds to the group ID. If we wish to change frequency, it will only be necessary to move the switches to the value corresponding to one of these numbers, or their sum. If, for example, we needed channel 2, all we would have to do would be to switch channel 2 corresponding to switch 5 to the on position. If, on the other hand, we wanted to change channels from the 1 set to channel 7, we would have to move the switches corresponding to channels 1, 2, and 4 or switches 4, 5, and 6 because the sum of channels 1, 2, and 4 equals 7. Installation of the kit is very simple. As mentioned, all devices are contained within the backpack supplied. First, the starting gate must be installed. To do this, simply clamp the hinge, then tighten the starting gate to a dedicated mounting. Once positioned and locked, you will need to equip yourself with the banana connector cables to make the connection. The video shows the position of the connectors, marked with 2 different colors, green and black. Next, it is necessary to install the gate rod using the threaded guide, taking care not to force the ferrule. We again recommend that you check before use that the gate is perfectly secured to the bracket in order to avoid problems during testing or in races. Always at the start, place the A-Link set as start inside the pocket provided. Then connect the cables previously installed in the start gate as shown in the video. We recommend using a stake at least 5 feet high for better radio and Bluetooth transmission and reception. The second part of the installation involves placing the wooden poles at the finish line. Placed opposite each other and featuring specific metal supports, the posts provide for the installation and adjustment of the reflector on one side and the installation of the polyphemo photocell on the opposite side. Before completing the fixing, it is advisable to check the correct alignment and pointing of the photocell towards the reflector. Finally, it will be necessary to install the radio antenna on the photocell. When the photocell is switched on, the activation or absence of an acoustic feedback will communicate the correct alignment between photocell and reflector. Following these steps, the system is ready to use. The illustration shows the devices in their configuration, positioned at the start and end points respectively. The kit also has a web interface for sharing times and sessions. HiTiming allows, through the connection with the timing system, to manage and share test and race sessions. HiTiming available on Google Play and App Store totally free of charge. To use HiTiming, you must first download the app to your smartphone from Google Play or the Apple Store. In the search bar, type HiTiming. The app is immediately recognizable because it features the typical Microgate colors. Then press the install button. Once this is installed and started up, additional permissions may be requested. On the main screen, HiTiming can be accessed via 2 different user profiles, as a trainer or as a guest. When logging in under the trainer profile, a new registration is required for the first time. The procedure requires the entry of a personal email address and a password. The latter must meet all the requirements in order to be valid. Upon pressing register, a feedback message will confirm whether the registration has been completed. In addition, this message will ask you to check your mailbox to confirm your registration. Here you will see a message from the app requesting confirmation of the activation of the account you have just entered. You will now be able to log into the app with your credentials and start the pairing phase with the chronometer. To associate the device with the chronometer, you will need to go to the Settings menu and press on the Bluetooth connection item. On the RT Pro, from the main menu select Settings, then Bluetooth Pair Devices. Press on the device you wish to pair and connect. To complete the pairing, you will need to dial on the chronometer the number that appears on your smartphone related to the Bluetooth pairing request. The message also contains the serial number of the chronometer. This is useful to identify the device in case there is more than one RT Pro active in the area. When the procedure is complete, the app will show the actual connection to RT Pro. At this point, you can then start your training or competition session as you want. To start a new session from the RT Pro, select the item New Race, then Training Light. As seen before, you will be asked to enter identification data for the session, such as name and date. We will use the number 17 as the name, which we will use in the HiTiming app sessions. In this way, we will be ready to carry out a timing session. Before we start with the timing, in case we need to check again that the smartphone is connected, from the Settings item, then Bluetooth Pair Devices, the table of connected devices will show the pairing status of the smartphone. It is now possible from the HiTiming app to set the session in order to receive data from the RT Pro. Select the icon at the bottom, then enter the data for the open session. You can choose the name, session type, and team selection if previously entered. Upon confirmation of the data, with session start, the smartphone will enter reception mode and wait for data from the current timing session. To carry out a test, useful for understanding the dynamics of operation and dialogue between the chronometer and the app, a simulation of the start and stop impulses can be made. Using a HiLink, previously set up as a start, for example. Then stop the time with the Polyphemo radio photocell, simulating the finish. Once again, we recommend testing the Bluetooth pairing and radio systems, as also described in the previous chapter, before installing the devices on the track. With the coach profile, you can share sessions in progress with guest users by selecting the sharing icon. From those suggested, choose the one you prefer. In this case, let us take, for example, sending by email. The guest user will receive an email containing a dedicated link. Clicking on this will automatically open the app. The guest profile is special because to view sessions, it does not require a profile to be created, but only the app installed on the device. This type of access thus allows you to view all the results of the current race or training session